welcome once again to Conscripted, episode 67. So really moving through these episodes. I mean, 2 of them you didn't even take part in, but still moving through them, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, what the hell last happened to the 2 of you?
Oh no. Crazy shit happened. So technically, I think you said you wanted it to start us like a week into wherever we last left off.
Sort of. There's going to be some stuff that happens in between that we're going to talk about. But what I want to know is how did you guys end up where you're at? What chain of events led you to being wherever the fuck you're at?
So Maldronicus tried to play some sort of epic hero, try to dismantle the castle himself, and his foolhardy mission had Argos and Ra having to flee the mansion and waiting for him, but he doesn't come after we wait. And we're left with our dead companions that we're allegedly trying to work on restoring their lives. But the particulars of that are to be discussed, I guess. But in general, when we get back to the mansion, I think we're expecting Maldronicus to show up kind of quickly. I think we've never seen Mal really fail. Really, I guess the one time where Cassius and Arvos work together to quote unquote save him, but I think Arvos kind of figures like part of Mal let that happen or something. I don't think he really believes Mal to be fallible. Seems to be infallible to this point. So I don't think he truly believes he's dead or gone. At least he knows he's not dead for sure because he tries sending to him immediately after and it's just blocked. So he has some sort of feeling that something else is going on. But yeah, I think that's where we kind of left the ball.
Yeah, and so I believe the 2 of you had discussed some plans. Arvos was planning to do some research, do some item crafting for the I'm forgetting his name again. Eye something, ear something. Hold on.
That's yes, he was supposed to retrain me on item crafting as well as part of the deal.
Correct. Why do I not find this dude's name? But yeah, that was exactly it. And I believe, Ra, you had other goals. You were very focused on trying to bring back the party, if I remember you saying that correctly.
Yeah, I know Aravos was going to have to jump to repose the bodies, but then I was going to try to acquire scrolls of Speak with Dead to be able to speak with them. So that's kind of my main focus. And then obviously after I do that, start asking around. I'm figuring this is a well enough off place that someone here would know where our best bet at acquiring diamonds, if we have the money to pay for it, would be.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to try to accomplish in all of this? While you're doing all that stuff.
I mean, I think that was it for starters.
Okay. Ooh, thank you for the sub.
Ooh.
Wait, does that say tier 3?
Yes, sir.
You're paying it back, huh?
Karma.
Just want to get us on the right display. I'm sorry, so what else did you say you were thinking about doing? Anything? I blanked for a minute where there was trying to figure out where the thing was, and then the sub hit, and then...
That's it for now. There was the conversation Arvos and I had about I want to contact Tonelli, but I agreed that I would hold off at least until we get some sort of resolution on the state of our companions, kind of waiting to see if Mal shows up or we hear anything from him and anytime soon, since he was our commander. Obviously it should be him reporting in, and kind of get the lay of the land on whether or not people want to come back and how easy it will be to bring people back before. So yeah, I made the agreement that I would wait, at least for now, until we have kind of the resurrection stuff situated.
Okay. So you can...
I was just going to say, he would have told you would need to give him a day's notice to make sure he has sending prepared before you wanted to contact him.
Okay.
So one of the things that that you can easily have done is perform the Speak with Dead. You can identify that there is no contact that you have with Sphinx. When you speak with the body, there is just silence. When you speak with Dead on Cassius, what questions do you ask of Cassius?
I think it would be pretty simple, just do you want to come back? Do you want to be resurrected?
Cassius will say yes.
Okay.
That is the only question that you'll ask?
I think so, because I think my main goal right now with doing the Speak with Dead is just to find out who even wants to try to come back. So
okay.
I don't have any other questions in mind that I would be asking them at the moment.
Yeah.
I just don't want to attempt to waste money on someone.
Okay. When you ask the same question to Zeke, you don't get the same answer that you get from Sphinx. You get something different, but no reply. You get the no reply. Hold on a sec. Just double checking something here. You get the reply, I am already alive.
That's strange. Is there any check to try to discern what this means?
You can give me a sense motive. Or gauge, rather.
Yeah, I was looking for...
Yeah, so something about it saying that brings a chill to your spine. You recall that this isn't the first time that Zeke died.
True.
Part of Zeke's situation in Krizizen was that he had died before and had been brought back in the service of someone else, in the ownership of someone else. And it sets in that that may likely be what is happening here.
He's whatever spell he did brought him back again, but maybe back in Krizizen, or?
You're not sure.
Hmm.
There's only so much you can glean from that without kind of drawing your own suspicions and deciding how you want to pursue them.
Well, I always found not wasting a diamond on his body.
Can I hear these things, or is it just with her and him?
Yeah, the actual physical corpse speaks.
Oh. So he's alive somewhere, you're saying, you think?
Alive or something, but that begs the question that if it's the same sort of thing that happened before, we were under the impression that we killed the person who had rezzed him before, or
that was a lot of assumption.
The person he was in service to.
So one other thing I realized there should be with your gauge is, you know that this is typically a limitation of Speak with Dead. It shouldn't be able to tell you that he's alive.
Weird.
Because the corpse is only supposed to be able to answer things that it knew in its life.
Yeah. So something's even bypassing the limitations of the spell to give us this answer.
Should I try to communicate with Zeke? To get a word?
You could try.
Curious. I'll cast Sending, think of Zeke, and I'll say, are you alive? Where are
Hello,
you?
son.
It's my father's voice responding to me?
It's your father's voice responding to you.
What the?
I didn't want to talk to you. Well, I guess I'd have to recast it again to respond. But... So he just says, hello, son?
That's all he says is, hello, son.
Seems my father may have some hand in this. I tried to communicate with Zeke, but my father responded.
That's not disturbing at all, that somehow he's alive and you try to communicate with him and your father's the response, which begs the question, does that mean your father basically has ownership over Zeke now?
That's what it seems like.
Well,
at least ownership of his soul, perhaps. That's why my spell directed to him. Maybe he hasn't put the soul in any body yet this time.
Gives us more reason maybe to check in on your father in the somewhat near future.
And put it past him to stoop so low as to some sort of necromantic magic.
Well, we at least have it for sure from Cassius. That's one diamond, and I'll see if... I don't know what's happening with Sphinx and why we're not getting a response from her, but maybe the Spirit Mother will talk to me. I've never talked to her before, but it's worth
I would
a try.
caution against that. The Spirit Mother.
Well, you're saying that in literally the middle of it. I hope you are well. I had an obligation to fulfill. Zeke was a part of the obligation.
Do I feel like I can respond? Like
yes, you feel like it is a sending.
How much time do I have to respond? You can answer. If the creature in question is on the same plane, it doesn't really say how long I have to answer. I would assume it'd have to be pretty standard.
Yeah, it's kind of a right away thing.
Interesting. Perhaps we should speak soon.
You get another one back. How soon? Where? Where you are now?
No. Perhaps a neutral location. Somewhere in between. I'll cast my own sending. Perhaps I will let you know when I think we should speak. There's much to discuss, but I will be busy for a while.
Very well. Don't be a fool and get yourself killed. But you won't listen to my advice.
I'll send another sending. No intention of leaving this plane of existence. You'll hear from me soon.
Yeah, and Ra, you'll just hear that suddenly interrupt the conversation you were having.
Well, this is all in our head, right? Like, she can't hear this, right?
I thought sending requires you to speak it.
The subject or creature with intelligence, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really say, I guess. I guess it's whatever you say where it goes on in this world. So they don't message you actually speaking because they say you get a DC perception check to hear it. But here they don't say it, so I assumed it was mental, but...
It might be. Okay. Either way, you just stop talking in the middle of sentence. Aside from saying the words interesting.
Pardon my absent mindedness here. I was interrupted by my father with some magic. We were having a conversation.
Sounds fun.
We'll follow up on that lead later, I think. I think we should try and figure out what's going on with Mal and see if we can get some diamonds for these. Well, for whoever wants to come back, I guess, first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And just for the record, I do have Gentle Repose, and I'm casting that as needed. Resistor 1 day a level. Oh. So every 10 days, I guess, I cast it.
Yeah.
Do we even bother casting it on Zeke's? I mean, I guess we should just do it on Zeke's body for now until we.
I think I would just do it on them all until we like fully are done with it.
Like give time for like Mal to respond. Maybe like see what your father says before we like just dump the body.
I think we would prepare one of the bedrooms that were for like either Cassius, Zeke's, or whoever's bedroom is unoccupied.
Okay. Keep
the bodies in there. They don't like the Gentle Repose doesn't make them like stinking shit, does it?
This is the map I wanted. No, it keeps them fresh.
Okay.
I think I put you guys on the wrong map.
I wondered. I was like,
yeah, it's bold. I put you on bold by mistakes. Should be more accurate.
True. But in general, Arvos has taken up shop in that ley lines area.
Yep.
The basement. I would try to permanent mage sanctum it if I can. That might be outside my abilities to do right now, but I would try to. If not, I would be casting that every day.
Okay.
Last 24 hours. And then that's where I would do my spell research and stuff like that.
Okay.
And item crafting and all that good stuff.
So Ra, with your research, you're gonna basically be pointed in to one of two directions, at least within the country of Krizaisen. So presently, there is known to be access to diamonds in Catheros. And there is known to be access to diamonds in Akunsan. In Catheros, you cannot buy them directly. There is a sort of moratorium on buying diamonds. You need to go through specific channels in order to acquire them, and only in limited quantities. Thank you. In Akunsant, there is no limit on supply, but it is nearly impossible to get into Akunsant that you're aware of.
Obtained, or is it just wrong?
What?
Did I freeze up? I think I froze up. Sorry.
Yeah, and I said Catheros and Akunsant, but Akunsant is basically impossible to get into, at least as far as you know.
So sorry, this was information we both obtained?
This was information Ra had obtained during her research.
Okay.
Because you've been doing mostly spell stuff. You've kind of gotten a little more focused on that than...
I would, after I got this information, I'd eventually come find you and let you know, like, what I figured out. And isn't Catheros the one we were there pretty before. Sure? Yeah, but wasn't Catheros the place that we found out that your father sort of runs something about the import-export of the diamonds out of there? I thought there was a place that we had found out that your father kind of controlled the import and exporting of the diamonds from that place.
Krizaisen has its own access to those things as well.
Okay.
But the Catheros thing is actually that it is literally run by the internal government, import-export. It is completely and totally managed by them. There are diamonds in Krizaisen, but they are very heavily controlled by the Salamander family.
Gotcha. But yeah, I would eventually wait for Arvos to come out of his hidey hole, and I found out where we have to go to get diamonds, but
Where?
Well, Catheros has some, but they're heavily controlled. You have to go through their government, and I don't know what all the stipulations are going to be to get them, or Akunsant.
Akunsant sounds preferable. I don't think we should be dealing with governments at this juncture.
Yes, but then how do we get into Arkansas?
There's gotta be a way in or out.
None that I've been able to find out.
Perhaps you've been not looking in the right places.
Perhaps. Have any direction of where I should look?
Do either of you have any ranks in knowledge geography or knowledge history?
Yes.
Okay.
Highest one is okay?
Yeah.
Oh!
So yeah, once she's talking about Akunsant, you can kind of remember seeing Cassius's map, and you remember being in the mountains. And one of the things you've heard is that, well, technically, there isn't a direct way in via like teleportation or via like it's in a caldera, so you can't like come in through the top. It's sealed off that way. But there is a means they have for bringing people back and sending people out on temporary vacations or trips, or when they need to banish someone from Akunsan. And it's a very rare occasion that they will banish somebody, but there have been people that have been banished from Akunsan. You know that it's very common for people to visit Stevelo as a vacation spot. It's touted as one of the most entertaining places in the country. The only other place you know of that's visited nearly as much is Krux. But perhaps there might be something about how people get brought back that might give you some indicator as to how you might get in yourself.
I think we need to apprehend some vacationers from Arkansas. I've recalled that they are able to expel people and in rare circumstances, and also people going on vacation from the city, frequently visiting Stevelo and Krux. Krux out of the question, not going back there. But Stevelo, perhaps we take a visit there and we see if we can find any of these vacationers and speak with them.
So just speak with them, not apprehending them.
Well, we need answers, and I'm already thinking 10 steps ahead. Perhaps we assume their identity and go back into the city? Or we just learn the secrets to get in and out?
I'm not opposed to trying to learn the secrets. I'm not so sure I want to apprehend someone and assume their identity in order to do this, but...
With my knowledge history, what is Akunsan like if they found out we were trying to infiltrate? Would we was it like murder on the spot kind of thing?
No. So give me a knowledge law here.
Ooh, I will gladly do that.
Okay. So you're contemplating it, and Akunsant's laws are very, very complicated. Akunsant is a city that is basically run by a series of families, sort of dynasties that have run the city for a long time. As the city grew in power, the families took a bigger hold and sort of carved out their own chunks. They all have these like interpersonal conflicts that have all manipulated the law in these very weird ways. There are a couple of different ways families might handle this kind of thing if you were to end up being returned there and assuming an identity and were caught. A family might just outright try to kill you. A family might enslave you. They might simply expel you, or you might be offered amnesty.
Ra, I know you have somewhat of a moral compass here, but I think if we get caught, it could be very dangerous. I'm not sure what kind of people we'll meet, and if they'll even be willing to part with these secrets, but I think this is our only real chance to get these diamonds.
Well, we can always just see how it goes. I mean, I don't know how we would have to meet the right people to assume their identities. I can't exactly disguise the color of my skin to look differently.
Right. I'm more thinking along the lines of we need to learn the secrets and maybe kill them. If they're vacationing and they alert Akensant that we know, it'll defeat the purpose, no?
We're not killing innocent people just to learn their secrets.
Well, maybe they're not even innocent.
I mean, but I don't know. And even if they are guilty of something, that doesn't necessarily mean they deserve to die just because we want to res our friends.
Well, I don't have the ability to erase memories, so how do you suppose we go about this then?
I mean, we could always just try to watch and see what happens. Maybe figure it out via observing.
Either way, I think we need to come in contact with these people.
Sure, probably, but I'm not okay with killing them.
Understood. Well,
And seeing as you can't really do damage,
that you know.
You've been training in new ways.
I do things that are more nefarious than damage. Physical, anyway. But if it comes down to it, Ra, what are you going to choose? If it's their life or our friends, what would you choose?
I'm not willing to take someone else's life who's innocent to raise our friends. I will try to res them if I can, but not at the cost of someone else's life.
That's fair. I just want to know how far you're willing to go if things go south and what we need to do. But it's good we have this conversation ahead of time. So, you think you want to head out to Arkansas or Stevelo and see if we can find these people? Do we know anything? Should we do some research about what exactly to expect in Stevelo?
Yeah, we should probably research it a little bit first.
Yeah, give me another knowledge history.
Yeah.
That's still enough. So you have access to a lot of books. The books have a lot of local historical information, as well as some spells to fill in some of the gaps of stuff that you didn't have before. And you will find that Stevelo is probably one of the most dangerous cities you can go to if you're not tough. So this isn't the kind of place where like the average person would go to take a vacation, because Stevelo is a place where people regularly show up to participate in the Dungeon Delve contest. The city of Stevelo is designed to be a massive dungeon that people can watch other people attempt. The prize is still yet unknown, as no one has successfully defeated the dungeon. But the consequence for failure is death. Permanent death. Your soul is
from Akusan vacation here
because it's a great place to go watch people do crazy things.
Oh, okay, they're just spectators.
Yes. The events are usually sort of timed. Most people know about when one of these events is going to occur because there's not tons and tons of people looking to run these events. It's a very, very special occasion when they get enough people together or when enough people are interested in running through the Dungeon of Stevelo.
Based on that information, would it be smarter to try to find out if there's one of these dungeons happening in the near future? Because they're more likely to be people vacationing during this event?
Yes. There is usually one every month, almost guaranteed, even if what they're doing is just running a few bodies through it. And when I say bodies, I mean like they've brought back to life a number of the people who have previously run it to see how well their undead forms can manage to get their way through the dungeon. But as of late, that has not yielded great results. But people still enjoy it because sometimes they'll skip the bodies along to different parts of the dungeon just to like showcase some of the new features that might be added or changing, or demonstrate that like some areas are not always the same, so you can't just like memorize the location because this whole area has suddenly transformed into the area over here. And so it is a very, there's always something at least once a month to go watch. And there are many other things to do in Stevelo. It is a place where a lot of necromancers do tend to hang out. It is a place where a lot of just various undead tend to hang out. And a place where demons and devils and a few other like miscreants tend to find home. Hence it's a dangerous place. The city is dark and full of evil.
Well, I've consulted my magical repertoire, and there is a spell that I can harmlessly assume the identity of the people if we do. You go that route. But it sounds like this city is quite dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's probably best we don't actually go in or spend much time in the city, or at least as little as needed.
With my knowledge of the strategy, would I know how the Arkansas vacationers travel into Stevelo? Like, is there...
It's direct. It's some form of teleportation because yes, they're supposed to stay in the same place during their vacation.
Okay. I was thinking we could maybe talk to people on the road on the way into Stevelo, but it sounds like they pretty much teleport right in or something.
So yeah, we do have to go into the city and figure out where and how they're teleporting in and out.
It is true. Well, this seems to be a conundrum. I think we can't get out of. We have to go into that city. I mean, you have pretty strong rock. You can keep us safe, can't you?
Maybe. Depends safe against what. I don't know how strong the things that hang out there are.
I think if we keep to ourselves and don't draw attention to ourselves, we shouldn't have to. I'm pretty sure they don't just murder people in the streets. I think that would be something I would hear about.
Yeah.
I mean, people do get killed in the streets, but it tends to be very, very...
Like they sought out problems.
Like nobody people... Well, it's a lot of people who, like, can't sort of care for themselves that do, like, very stupid things, like trusting people and ending up in situations where they don't realize they're bargaining away their life. One thing, actually, with your check... no, you got an 18. Never mind. You got effectively a 20, but you wouldn't know this other part.
Well, what do you say, Ra? We up for a road trip?
Yeah, can we go tomorrow?
Can I estimate how long this journey would take us?
Are you going on foot?
Well, you'd have to rent a carriage or something. Or, where's Pierre at? Do I know where Pierre's at?
Pierre is around.
Oh god, have we spoken to Pierre? What has he been up to?
I mean, I assumed, like, well, I guess this would have been a conversation because, I mean, if we find Pierre, like, you don't want me telling Tonelli what's going on. How do we explain? Do you want to explain to Pierre and hope that he doesn't say anything to Tonelli right away? Or. Because I would want to go find Pierre and let him know when we got back, but I don't know if that's part of.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he doesn't go around us. Like, we're part of the military. He's like, just. I mean, if he wants to die, he can, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, I think in that like week that we had, I would have probably at least found Pierre and like told him that at least we are back and let him know what's going on and what we're doing.
Yeah, he's been coming in rather late, so you two are basically asleep before Pierre comes back in and disappearing pretty early in the morning. But yeah, he will eventually. You guys can run into him. Ah, hello. You're where are the I wondered what that. No, wait. I'm a little distracted. It's been a while. Are you doing okay?
Been better. What have you been up to, Pierre?
A number of things. I have been working in some gardens here and there. They are growing quite nice. Tending to the horses. You know, the usual.
Remind me, what is your association with the military? Did you sign something like I did?
No, I am a paid servant of yours.
Excellent. We're thinking of taking a voyage to Stevelo. Are you able to accommodate us?
Oh, what?
I don't know if you've noticed, but some of us are not with us anymore, and we need diamonds.
I wondered if maybe they decided to retire.
Forceful retirement, it seems.
Oh, that sounds grisly.
Let me be right back. I'll pass through.
Why,
Have
of
you
all
been
the
to
people, did you remain? Oh, wait,
Fortunately,
you probably sold them off, didn't you?
I did no such thing, Pierre. They fell to their own weaknesses.
Yes. Falling to your own weakness is something that a foe would say.
Unfortunately, they fell in battle, and I was fortunate enough to not be in the front lines because I'm not very sturdy. But I support them, and I did my best to keep them alive, and hence why we're doing these things now.
Well, it's too bad that your friends had to die.
It is too bad that they did.
Yes.
So, what do you know of Stevelo? You think you can make this journey? Have you been there before?
Certainly can, but with less of you, this is going to be a much more dangerous journey, and I don't really want to stick around, Stevelo.
We don't plan to stick around there for very long. Have you been there before? Can you tell me anything about the city?
I have not intentionally been there before, no. I don't even know that I've actually been there either, but I don't know. There were some times during my life where I ended up places and may have been there once, but I'm not sure. If it's a place you'd like to go, I can take you there, but we're at least a week or more out from there.
Yes, yeah, we'll discuss if we plan on going there. It's just spitballing ideas. How is it best to? Seems like you've been coming in at late hours. Is there a time where best I can speak with you again?
If you need me, just let me know when you need me, and I'll come back around that time.
All right. Where is Pierre's quarters in here? Is it like near our rooms?
He took one of the rooms that Zeke wanted to be up in one of the towers, so he took one of the actual bedrooms.
Okay. I'll kind of leave this conversation and turn to Ra and say, let's discuss some plans, and I'll just like bring her to my lab area, research area, away from Pierre. Perhaps we don't need Pierre. I've avoided taking these less powerful spells because we had Sphinx kind of cover those bases, but I could get communal mounts for us and get us a ride. We can rest in rope tricks in the night. We can maybe move faster on horses than going with a cart. Maybe we should just go without Pierre. Less liability. He doesn't seem too keen to want to go to the city. We would draw more attention coming in with a huge cart and having him find a place to keep it. We just came in on horses. I dismissed them near the city. We just walk in, maybe less.
And then we can just teleport if we need to leave at that point too, as long as you.
Assuming I can teleport out, and sometimes there are things that prevent such magics.
I mean, worst case scenario, right? If the city is blocked, we should just be able to get outside the city and attempt to teleport.
Right. I think this may be the best course.
Yeah, I mean, if it's faster, a week isn't exactly ideal for travel. And I don't necessarily want to bring Pierre places where he might get into more trouble.
Yes. I'm just going to look at mount to see if I even need communal mount or just cast 2 mounts. Does it last for 2 hours per level? Yeah, I don't need 6 horses. A light horse. I don't know how fast they move. What's their move speed? 50 feet. So I think that's pretty fast.
No, absolutely.
And they don't get tired because they're fake.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, on communal mounts, you can make it. You can actually probably get there in about 6 days' time. Because it's 200 and about 200-ish miles. So yeah, you can manage to get there in about 6 days' time on horseback, if especially using communal mounts.
What do you think, Bra? Should we just ride ourselves?
I mean, I think that's probably the best option if we can't teleport someplace closer.
I don't think I have any locations we've been to close enough. There's that old temple that we were once at, but I only saw it once, not even a day, so I don't know. I don't think it's worth the risk. I just think the horses are pretty fast.
Yeah.
Is there any preparations we should bring for this journey? Some food. And what else?
Well, I certainly have a few things that I need to do beforehand. I'm hoping if Nipsis can maybe help me figure out exactly what this weapon does that I have.
Okay.
It'd be good to know its uses before we're going into dangerous territory.
All right. Let's take a few days to do some research on Stevelo, see if we can find out any other things, and then make our way there. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
So if you take that blade to Hypnis, she will look it over, and she will sort of give you what new details she's discovered in the time you were away. This blade has upon it magics from long, long ago. Magics that do not operate under the same rules that the magics of now operate under. The world has changed over the many, many centuries that things have gone on. And this blade is a shining example of that. Perhaps you're likely familiar with the idea of blades that are keen, yes?
Yes.
But what if the blade were keen without that being the effect on the blade? Not stackable with the magic of keen, but someone that's particularly skilled at finding vulnerabilities won't find that the blade finds its way to those vulnerabilities, but instead the blade intuits the ability to find the way to those vulnerabilities. It's a little hard to explain, But there are people out there that are naturally skilled at being able to move a weapon at a vital point on a person. And this blade further enhances the ability to find those vital points. It is also very, very powerful in terms of magical energy, whereas most would claim most people's usual blade have nothing more than a mere single level of arcane enchantment. This produces 4 levels of this contains simply in increased accuracy and ability to rend one's foes, an increase in magnitude by 4.
Wow. Anything else special about it, or is that?
That is quite a bit.
That is.
So what she is actually explaining to you, I know it's a little hard to understand, but this is not technically a keen falchion and is a keen falchion. This is a keen falchion that stacks with improved critical.
Gotcha.
And it is +4.
Yeah, so in terms of just in case I actually need to use my weapon at all, I think I can just currently change the magical enhancement on mine?
Correct.
Okay. I forgot we don't have the actual, new way.
Yeah, the new ones have not been put into this.
Yeah, so just change
there were too many things that could potentially break for me to...
Yeah. Okay. Okay. While I'm here, I also wanted to bring the, one of the things that we got in, the treasures and stuff was one of the old symbol idols for Sascha, and I just wanted to bring that along and just show it to her.
It's been a very, very long time since I've seen one of these. It wasn't the kind of thing that I saw in person.
Yes, I was pretty surprised to find this. I thought you might appreciate seeing it as well.
I would keep that with you at all times. I think there might be something to it.
Yes, I felt like it was something I wanted to, for sure, start carrying around with me. Seemed very fortunate to find this.
You've done some impressive things. And you hold faith still?
I do. I don't know if that's the wisest decision ever, but I've pretty much discerned that I will hold faith until another comes with the same ideals. She returns, or I lose my magic. Whichever one it ends up being, I am okay with.
Well, rumor is that the 6th circle has officially begun to decay. Some spells from within it have stopped functioning.
Well, I have time before my magic is affected still, but that is sad. At least I don't have the other whispering to me anymore, telling me threats about my magic fading.
Yes, you're speaking of that mistress, I assume.
Yes, she tried rather hard for quite a while to get me to jump ship, but
I've heard many have been hearing her. She seems not interested in myself, but there are others that have talked about some new goddess speaking to them.
Yeah, she spoke to me for a while, but I made it pretty clear to her that although I find her interest and experiences a valid way to gain knowledge, the motivations behind it don't feel right with me. And for mostly those reasons, I can't see myself becoming her follower, and I would rather stay true to Sascha, even if that does mean my magical fades.
I can understand. Well, where are you off to next?
We unfortunately lost some of our comrades in the castle. We're sort of attempting to see if we can track down some diamonds to potentially res them. Rumors have it that there might be some ways into Akunsant. We're going to explore that a little bit, but
that would be crazy if there were. I've heard that's a very sealed off city.
Yes, it's very vague rumors of possible means to get in, but
you're not planning on what I've heard heard of supposedly the military speaking of, right? There is a way to sort of walk in, but from what I've heard, it's essentially suicide.
No, we were planning on just waltzing in. What has the military been doing to get in?
There is a front door from way back when, buried deep within the caves that lie beneath Akunsan. At least that's what the stories and rumors say. The military was supposed to be planning some sort of insurrection there. But I believe much of that has sort of fallen by the wayside with the conflict between the two sides. It's an especially dangerous route to take as well. Creatures of quite dramatic power exist down there.
Yes, we heard and are hoping maybe there's a way through the people who traveled to Stevelo to find a route in.
Well, that should be interesting as well. I know that's a particularly hot vacation spot for a lot of people. I wouldn't go there myself. It's kind of grisly.
Yeah,
but
I'm not really thrilled about traveling there, but I figure I need to do my best to try to res those of my fallen comrades that I can.
I wish you the blessing of what of Sascha is left.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you can meet back up with Aravos. And is there anything else you two want to do before you set out of Null Wazir?
I specifically want to, on one of the times that Aravos is preoccupied with his spell research, I am going to try to see if there's a way I can commune with the Spirit Mother. I don't really know how to open myself up to her. I never really saw how the others did. But I think I would just do my go-to of how I commune to Sascha and just think of her and specifically think of like Sphinx very strongly and hope that maybe with that connection that something might happen.
Give me a knowledge religion.
I don't think I can use the insight bonus on
No,
this.
because this is not you accessing information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, well.
Oh,
Very good, and a very good time for it. As you pray, take a moment, clear the area, clear your mind, and focus on what you knew of the Spirit Mother and your memories of Sphinx. You will hear a very soft and very faint familiar voice. It's okay, Ra. I'm in a better place now. We will together make this world better. I know that you still follow Sascha. I know that you still hope one day this will all work out. But if you need something, if you find yourself alone and afraid. There was always community with us. I miss you, but I know you'll do well.
I think Ra would just try really hard to hold back some tears and just like whisper back thank you and yeah, be content with that.
Okay. And with that, let's take a short break. See y'all in a bit.